Sandro is going to come and share with us this morning. You've heard him play guitar. He's multi-talented, multi-gifted, and he said, I want to share a little of my story. So it's so good to have him with us. Come on down, Sandro.
Good morning, everyone. I'll go straight to the point. Here is my story, of course, a part of it. No, I'm a bit, bit anxious, but I know you're became in my family over the years, so it's all coming out by heart and, of course, emotions. So, tell you what I want to share today is when I was 30 years old, I was lost in a life that I thought would never change. My days were filled with the destructive habits of drug use, alcohol, womanizing, and other sins of different sorts. I was living far away from home, or away from people that knew me all my life. Working in London, staying in an anonymous bedsit. So those around me didn't really care about me, and so neither did I. I became very cold towards people. I chased empty pleasures. I was a mess. Still, I forced myself to believe that I was searching for a meaning. I tried everything that my personal world offered, the world of my peers, I must say. But it only left me more empty. So one morning I was off from work, and I found myself not in the pub, but in a place I hadn't expected to be, standing in a church, surrounded by the sound of worship. I wasn't looking for salvation that day. I didn't walk in with any intention of changing my life, plain curiosity. But something happened. I felt a stirring in my heart. It was a peace I never known, a presence that cut through the noise of my current life. Mind you, I was brought in a Roman Catholic family, formally speaking. My parents did force me to attend catechism and do First Communion, but never taught me or read me anything from the Bible or the sacraments. We were never going to Mass, only going to church on those big occasions, someone's First Communion or weddings, which were also just a formality, showing off posh clothes. I remember all us kids in uncomfortable shoes, wearing ridiculous shirts, wandering around. As you probably know, I'm born and grew up in Rome, very famous city, where you have churches at every corner. But despite that, it's a place where it's socially accepted that everyone is desecrating the church, voicing out sarcasm towards it, irony, mocking out priests and nuns. Therefore, it exists a vast array of swears and blasphemies, which at least I never use, despite, I repeat, being surrounded by those awful expressions in daily life. I was praying Our Father and Holy Mary, asking that thieves stays away from the flat or to pass the exams. I was praying before falling asleep. Then I stopped at the start of my teenage era, when I started to follow artificial things and adoring the lifestyle of self-destructive rock stars. They all died young. I was reckless, not scared of death, and nobody around me was aware of how I was going down. So when I finished secondary school, I eventually did what I believe is the first experience of me helping others in a meaningful and continuous way. I've been called to, as we called in Italy, a civil service, which was helping disabled people in a remote tiny village around the national park, 3 hours south from noisy Rome. This is a mandatory year the citizens has to oblige after you finish school. So I did civil service instead of joining the army for a year. In this tiny village, among other philanthropic activities, I was spending afternoons pushing the wheelchair of a woman who was speaking fondly about Jesus. I was soaking it up fully. It was very inspiring, surrounded by mountains and clean air, such a contrast, no, from the building and noise of the streets of Rome. But then in the evening, when I finished my shift, I would go back to bad habits with my fellow colleagues in the dormitory. So, fast forward this period of, let's say, half good actions of the civil service, I decided to immediately fly to London and start a new life and left Italy for good. So, to come back to that morning of 18 years ago, this church was based in North London, Quex Road, in the Kilburn area, which is an Irish area. It was off the high road, so it wasn't loud. The building inspired me dignity, and I felt like shelter. I experienced peace, clarity, truth. So I started to go to encounter God every morning since I was starting work at 4 p.m. It became my routine. I started to realize Jesus had never given up on me, even when I had given up on myself. The prayers, the sermons, they all pointed me to a love that was deeper than my failures and stronger than my additions. One morning, I decided to ask the priest if he could prepare me to be confirmed, which he accepted. So we will meet every week, have this amazing talk that gave my life a different, bright light, like this. Also, English is not my first language, so I was really feeling a transformation. So I stopped this self-destructive conduct, started going jogging every day, and then I met Monica, which is a different story, of course. Worship became my remedy, a place of healing and restoration. But now I want to return to recent years, yeah? It is here in Ibiza that there is also a touchable and physical connection with God and its followers. Monica and I got married and hoped to have a baby for a couple of years. We were losing hope. Thanks to an event that took place before those uncertain COVID years, which is incense, that we received the gift of having our first baby with the great help of the prayers of this community. We joined this church sometimes in 2016. I cherish the Sunday gathering of all these years together. Those mornings with Julia Moore leading us on the piano and with the singing in Santa Eulalia Church. Those baptisms on the beaches of this beautiful island. The heartful funeral of that January, the services with all the measures during the COVID period, the relaxing and fun parties at Cambagot. The Holy Spirit unites us all and fills my heart with healthy and peaceful feelings of belonging to the right cause, to a winning team. Me being part of this international family allow me to accept myself, to overcome my shyness, bit of social anxiety, to express my natural self through worship music, first as a technician, now as a musician, which for me is a dream come true every Sunday. I'm passionate and loyal to always give my best, and I do it without any effort at all. I mean, just look at these wonderful people, no? Linda, Ian, Vu. And that's thanks to God, which is our Father. I know firsthand that redemption is possible, no matter how far you've fallen. My life was a mess, but God used worship to pull me out of the pit and send me on a new path. Today I stand not as the man as I was, but as someone who has been transformed by the grace of God. My grandma was in the grace of God. She was the only devoted person in the family, and with whom I had precious conversations in her late years. She always would say to me, Dio vede e provvede. God sees and provides. I believe that strongly. I can't really explain it to you. I feel it. It's inside forever. We are blessed. We are safe. If he can do it for me, he can do it for anyone. I will end with a passage from a psalm. Return to your rest, my soul, for the Lord has been good to you. For you, Lord, have delivered me from death, my eyes from tears, my feet from stumbling, that I may walk before the Lord in the land of the living. Thank you.